Hi, this is Dr. Howard Pallay again. This is, I believe, my third podcast in a series. And what this is all about is optimizing your health naturally, okay? My main practice point for this kind of situation and these kind of problems is what I call advanced functional nutrition. As I talked about it in one of the first two podcasts, it's about rebalancing your body, getting your body to function better, taking care of yourself, eating healthier food, taking supplements to rebalance and heal and stimulate and wake up your body system. So we talked a little bit about supplementation last time, and I want to go into that a little bit deeper now. We talked about 5 food groups. It's really not that hard to figure out whether food's healthy, a little healthy, unhealthy, very unhealthy, or what I explained to you last time, neutral foods, okay? Now, I talked a little bit about who makes the supplements. Yeah, it matters. It matters where your food comes from, whether there were chemicals when they raised it, whether there were pesticides, whether there were steroid-related, antibiotics. Well, the same thing goes with your supplements. Supplements, it matters who makes things, okay? Years ago, I had one of my nutritional company reps come in and sit and chat with me, and they were a very good company, and they wanted me to try one of their products. It was a particular formulation for digestive issues, and it was a good company. The ingredients, which I know the biochemistry were good, the price point was excellent. It didn't work. Did it not absorb well? Was it made poorly? I don't think it was made poorly, but I have experience of telling you which supplements I know actually work, okay? It probably doesn't matter that much if you take a simple thing like a calcium lactate. If somebody makes a magnesium, you think they're all the same, but there's actually different kinds of magnesium. And I like the ones that are highly cardioprotective. Potassium, on the other hand, it doesn't matter who makes a potassium supplement, but I don't like people to take too much potassium anyway. You can take too much of certain supplements, but there's not that much danger involved. I remember one patient, their little child got hold of their chewable vitamin C and ate the whole bottle. They called me up hysterical. You don't got to go to the hospital. All they're going to do is have diarrhea. Vitamins are not dangerous. Nutritional supplements are not dangerous. That's the whole point. If you take something your body doesn't need, it'll just go into stored nutrients in your body, or it'll come out in your waste products, which is perfectly fine, okay? So this is the modern version of what do I really think people need to take, not talking about people who have a specific condition, and we're going to be getting into specific conditions as we dig deeper and deeper into the meat of what my podcasts are about, which is optimizing health naturally, optimizing your happiness. It's very hard to be happy when you don't feel well, when you're in pain, when you have no energy. And these are going to be some of the focal points that we're going to focus on, especially when I get into systems and when I get into some case studies that I'm going to talk about as we go along. So, if you're fairly healthy, you're eating a good diet, fairly good diet, or you're improving it, and we're going to talk more about the overall diet, but again, water, water, water. Other things to drink, herbal tea, maybe a little bit of green tea. Juices are highly overrated. Vegetable juices are okay. Fruit juices are sugar water. They're not dramatically better than soda. That doesn't make soda okay, okay? We talked about water being the best hydrator. We want you to drink spring water. Coconut water is fine, but there's nothing really special about it. You're just paying more money for a shishi product, okay? So what do people really need to take as far as supplements? Well, the number one thing, in my opinion, is chewable vitamin C, because I want vitamin C to get to the mucosa of the upper respiratory area. We'll talk about what brands are the best later on and what dosages, but suffice it to say, I like vitamin C's up in your cheeks. You let it dissolve a few minutes, then you chew them up, one on each side, and how many times a day, what the strength is, what the quality is. We can talk about that later on, but chewable vitamin C. Number two thing think everybody should take is a multivitamin, multimineral, and the minerals are probably more important. Not that many Americans are vitamin deficient. A little extra vitamins is not a bad idea, but we are highly mineral deficient because of they grow high amounts of produce on small areas. They deplete the soil. They don't really put all the nutrients back in. And not only do they put chemicals on it and stuff that we don't want, but they often pick the vegetables and the fruits when they're not quite ripe. And the ripening phase is when a lot of the final nutrients go in. But be that as it may, I suppose organic stuff is a little better for that. But, people need to eat higher quality stuff. The next thing you want to have in your diet, in my opinion, is vegetables. And I'm talking about steamed, souped, or lightly sauteed with a healthy vegetable oil vegetables. You should have vegetables for just about every meal, pretty much. You should have carbs for breakfast and lunch, not so much for dinner. You should eat protein once a day. We eat too much protein in America. Protein is way overrated. You need protein. You need a good protein, but not too much of it. The healthiest protein, bar none, is fish, especially fatty fish. After that, it's chicken, preferably organic chicken, okay? After that, it's turkey and the other poultry family. And then, of course, you can get into a little bit of shellfish. You can get into meat, not too much, not too often, okay? But really, before you get into the proteins, okay, after you have all kinds of vegetables, and let's talk about that. Green beans are green. They're not a green leafy vegetable. We want green leafy vegetables. Broccoli is not a green leafy vegetable. Broccoli is actually a starch, just as corn is. And that's what we call neutral empty calories. I'm not saying there's no value to broccoli, but it's highly, highly overrated. We want green leafy vegetables. Unfortunately, when you go into an American market to buy vegetables, they mostly have, and nowadays they have kale, they got romaine lettuce, they got iceberg lettuce, they got spinach. They don't got a lot else beyond that. You need to expand your horizons. You need to go to an Asian market. They have all kinds of greens. Each one has a value, and each one tastes better than the next. Some of my favorites are baby bok choy, yu choy, Y-U, separate word, C-H-O-Y, is my absolute favorite. Snow pea tips, they call bean tips, one of the more expensive ones. Delicious, absolutely delicious. There's all kinds of other ones. You need to get out there and get outside your box of what you're comfortable with and go try some of these green leafy vegetables. The way to prepare them, the easiest thing, is put it into soup. Okay? Number two would be steam it. Put a little bit of Himalayan salt on it if you like salt, a little bit of pepper if you like, definitely a little bit of garlic powder or minced garlic, and then just steam it. But the other thing you could do, which is easier, and I'm a big fan of people using easy to cook, easy to clean things. Nowadays, they have ceramic lined pots and pans because Teflon is not healthy. It's not safe. It's easy to clean. It's easy to cook with, but it's not safe. But now we have ceramic lined pots and pans. If you don't have them, you can go to a major distributor like a Walmart or Target, and you can get them for under $100. You can get a box of them. Tefal makes an excellent ceramic lined one. That's what I use. Not expensive at all, okay? You put 1 tablespoon in a ceramic lined pan that's on medium heat. You add some garlic. You rinse we'll start with spinach or Shanghai tips or baby bok choy. You rinse it, shake it out, put it right into the hot oil. Remember, there's only a tablespoon. You use a wooden spatula, not a plastic one. You stir it a little bit, add a little bit of salt if you like. I prefer Himalayan salt, but any salt is fine. Then you add whatever garlic that you want some more, and add a little teeny bit of water to create a broth. 3 minutes. I don't care how fast you think microwaves are, and convection ovens, and frozen and canned. It takes 3 minutes to cook fresh vegetables. 3 minutes. How do you not have time for 3 minutes? If you use a ceramic lined pot or pan, the cleanup is extremely easy. But one little note, if you're going to saute, okay, in 3 minutes you'll see it wilt down, it's done, don't overcook it. You either pour it over whole grain noodles or rice noodles, one of my favorites, we'll talk about that, or you pour it over rice, okay, and you need to drink the broth. Make sure you pour the broth or you drink the broth, Or, better yet, you put the whole thing into a soup, and then the broth is already in there already. Of course, you put it into a soup, you don't have to saute it first. You just literally, at the end of cooking the soup, you put your spinach, your bean tips, or whatever it is that you want it as a green, into the soup for the last, remember, 3 minutes, right? Um, let's talk about rice for a minute, because this is kind of interesting. Whole wheat bread, whole wheat pasta, big difference. White flour, white bread, literally is no different than wallpaper paste. And it has the same effect on the body. It gums up your intestinal tract, okay? So you really want to get whole grains, complex carbs for the carb part of your meal as much as you can. The curious thing is rice. I don't really think brown rice is substantially better, because the only difference between white rice and brown rice is they shear off the outer little layer, which has some of the fiber, but they don't adulterate and change the substance of the rice. Whereas flour, they're changing the flour, and it's very, very different. So I know this is, a lot of people don't understand this. I have no problem with you eating brown rice, but I'm telling you, white rice is fine. And you look over in Asia, they don't have a lot of fat people. They have less health problems and cardiovascular issues because rice is a staple of their diet. You can also get rice pasta at any Asian market. I don't know if they carry that in American markets, haven't really checked. It's delicious. It tastes actually as good or better than regular pasta. They also have vegetable pasta, which is they ground up carrots and spinach and green beans, and they use that as part of making the pasta. Very good for kids, very good for everybody as a change. Not to say I don't love some good, fresh Italian pasta. I do, especially if it's freshly prepared. And that's one of the things you need to know. If you're affluent and you go out to eat a lot, you need to understand something. There's very few restaurants that make you really fresh food. They can't. They want to make money. They're serving a whole bunch of people, okay? They can't fresh cook your meal for 45 minutes, half hour at least, and make it fresh. Some of the stuff is pre-prepared, and then they finish it, which is fine, okay? The healthiest food is the food you make yourself and eat at home with love and care and preparation to your own specifications of what your tastes are and what's healthy for you. I can't emphasize this enough. You really are what you eat. It matters what food you put into your body. So then we get into the, obviously some protein, okay, rice and some kind of a carb. And by the way, chickpeas are really good. Beans and nuts that are fresh is very, very healthy. Not stuff that's been fried or oil-based and heavily salted. Lightly salted, sea salt, Himalayan salt on popcorn, for example. Popcorn has no nutritional value. Again, it's a neutral food. It's a filler unless you pour butter all over it or put tons of salt. But you can get really nice popcorn, which is the thing if you want to fill a little bit so you don't get too hungry all the time, okay? But you can't snack all the time because your stomach expands. If your stomach expands, then your body wants to eat again. Feed me, Seymour. I want more food. So you have to shrink your stomach. One big nasty meal will re-expand your stomach and take you 2, 3, 4 days to shrink down again while your body's going, feed me, feed me, feed me now, feed me. You know, so you have to have some self-discipline. You can cheat a little bit, and that's another part of my whole food regimen. I believe that you can have something that you really like that's not so healthy for you once a month. That's it. You can have a few things each once a month. For example, I love a Greek gyro sandwich. Now, fat digestion and gallbladder problems runs in my family tree, okay? So really, it's not the greatest food for me, and sometimes it gives me a sour stomach, but once a month, I go eat my gyro sandwich, my lamb beef combo, and you know, whatever you know about gyro sandwiches. Happens to be something that I really love, okay? So, but if you only eat it once a month, it's okay. Here's the problem. You like pizza. It's not healthy. You eat pizza once a month, no problem. You eat pizza 2 or 3 times a week, it's not okay. You go to Burger King or Wendy's or McDonald's, not trying to pick on them. They do have some healthy choices, by the way. McDonald's oatmeal, not bad, by the way, for example. But you can't eat that food all the time. It's not good for you, okay? And I'll tell you some stories about that some other time. I don't want to pick on a particular company, but I will tell you some stories about pre-prepared food like that. But the point is, if you once a month went and had a hamburger at a fast food joint, it's not going to kill you. But what about these people who eat McDonald's every day? That's the problem, okay? You are what you eat, okay? Then you get into the rest of the less nutritious vegetables and the fruits. They're important, but they're less important, okay? And again, nothing wrong with corn, but nothing special about corn. Nothing wrong with broccoli, a little bit of good things to it, nothing special about it. The same with your chickpeas and other things. You need carbs, you need healthy ones, you need things that have fiber as well. Fiber is very, very important, and we'll get to that because the first topic we're going to be talking about after we cover all this is going to be the digestive tract, because everything begins and ends in the digestive tract. That's kind of a joke, but it's also kind of true. So anyway, we talked about foods enough, getting back to the supplements, and then we're going to finish this podcast for the day. Everybody should take a high-quality multivitamin, multimineral. It should be in a capsule, okay? Everybody should be on a chewable C, okay? Everybody should take some magnesium. I prefer a specific kind because magnesium aspartate. I like it combined with some potassium. Everybody should take an oil. Very important. Yeah, an omega-3 fish oil from a good company. See, a lot of companies make crappy omega-3 fish oils. There are also good oils, but oils store in your body. So I like the people to take a bottle of fish oil, then a bottle of something else, the next bottle, then go back to fish oil, then go to the next one. Some of my favorites oils are black currant oil, evening primrose oil, a chlorophyll-based oil. For starters, these are some of the oils I like people to be rotating through, but the core base is the omega-3 fish oils, okay? Bone calcium, women over the age of 40, men sometimes should have a bone calcium, but it's got to be something that's absorbable, okay? Let me tell you, the old original calcium products was dolomite. You know what dolomite is? It's a piece of rock. It's limestone ground up. Your body, as you get older and you need calcium, does not easily digest a piece of rock. In Asia, they grind up pearls, cheap pearls. You don't digest pearls either, okay? It has to be a high quality bone calcium, and it has to have certain synergistic things in there with it. Silicon, boron, other things. And I have certain companies that I know will change your bone density or keep it from getting worse, okay? I primarily recommend what's called MCHC, microcrystalline hypoapatate, but I recommend certain companies, and we'll get to who recommend a little later on, or it'll be attached to the YouTube channel. We'll get to that later on as well. That's pretty much it for what everybody needs to be taking. Then we go into specifics for your particular condition. So most women need an MCHC. Everybody should have a multivitamin. Everybody should be on an oil. Everybody should do some chewable C. Everybody should take magnesium, potassium. Oh, and probably a small amount of zinc. I used to have people do zinc gluconate, which is the ones you can do in your mouth or up the nose, which is either Zicam or which is actually a homeopathic remedy. We'll catch that one day as a topic. Otherwise, it's Coldies, and that stuff's great. But now I think people should have a little bit more of zinc, because zinc is really important for female support, for prostate support, but more importantly, it's a support for the immune system. And Lord knows our immune system needs help nowadays, okay? So I use a zinc picolinate. There are other ones that are very good as well, but a little bit more than the trace amounts that are in the zinc gluconates that I've been recommending for many, many years previously. Well, that'll end it for the third podcast. We'll talk to you again soon.